Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye has friends. No, really, Jeff has friends. Jeff's friends are on this podcast. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship.
Friendship.
Welcome to Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast, episode 118. If you speak math, that's 118. Super excited because we're back in the studio. As you can see, we are not doing this via Zoom, so it's going to sound better. It's going to look better. And Nick Greco in the captain's chair. Very excited. You might say, hey, wait a minute. Where's Tony? Well, Tony's out. Nick Greco's in. Very excited to have him on. You're going to get to know this guy. Follow him on all his socials. He's a very, very funny guy. He is like a battered wife, though. You know, he's been a Cubs fan, and it's just been a long run, and now a Bears fan. All this, it's been hard on him. So give him some love. Send him some love. If you guys are watching this episode, that means you're subscribed to my Patreon, and I appreciate that. I love you guys. This wouldn't be possible without you guys, especially with the pandy. So thank you very much. If you'd like to subscribe to Patreon and be able to watch this podcast and you get extra goodies and free tickets to my stand-up comedy shows, go to patreon.com/JeffDye and subscribe there. It would be much, 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 much appreciated. Also, my new album is coming out soon. My baseball card comes out this week. Also, I've got gigs coming up on the road. If you go to jeffdye.com, you can find those gigs. What else is going on? I have a new podcast with Russell Wilson called Danger Talk. If you haven't caught that yet, episode 1, we interviewed Shaq. And then by the time this comes out, maybe we'll already have episode. I don't know. Just subscribe. That's over at Apple. Big thank you to All Things Comedy, which is the host of this podcast. Without further ado, I'm excited to tell you about who we've got in the studio. I just worked with her on a show a few months ago, and we became pals right away. We just hit it off because she's easy to talk to, and I talk a lot. And so I said, hey, you want to do my podcast? She's like, yeah, I'd love to do your podcast. And she was super flexible and super easy and a super awesome just interview. Great lady, very, very funny, very, very charming and beautiful. The Cheryl Hines from Curb Your the Cheryl Hines. The Cheryl Hines. I said it like it's her name, like a movie title. Cheryl Hines is with us. I'm very excited to have her here. So enjoy. I'm not going to talk no more. Enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. I'm very, 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 very excited. One, because we're back in the studio. This Zoom shit, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like having to do stand-up on Zoom. I don't like having to do meetings on Zoom. I don't like having to do the podcast on Zoom. So I was super excited. I peer pressured Nick, who's terribly afraid of coronavirus.
Just cautious.
Yeah, well, I had it, and it's nothing, dude.
That's, yeah. Say that to
To who? To people listening?
200,000 Americans?
Here's the thing. I think every time that I tested positive, does that count as a person? All my positive tests, right? Did they just send that back and go, that's another person with corona? Because they weren't asking if I already had it. It's just right. I counted as 5 people that had coronavirus, so those numbers might be...
Cases, yeah.
Well, it was just 1 case.
Well, you've had 2 cases.
What do you mean?
Have you been positive
I just had
twice?
5 positive tests.
You've been 5.
But that was the same 2 weeks. I just kept going to get checked because I was like, maybe it's gone today. You know? I don't know. That doesn't matter.
That's 1 case.
I didn't want to start this political, Nick, but that stupid mask, I wanted to see your handsome face. And so I had to let the people know if they're watching that Nick is very cautious about that. He's very handsome, Cheryl, I promise you.
I believe you.
I'm super excited about our guest, a new friend. We shot a show together, and I'm going to ask her to explain that to you because it's pretty confusing. Every time I try to explain it, I'm like, I don't know. But I am super excited to have you here because you've had an awesome career and also had a huge crush on you on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And now she's right here in our house. My house. Your house. Cheryl Hines.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
I'm so happy to be here.
Have they been making you do a ton of press and stuff?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we did like a press tour, but it was all Zoom.
That's no fun.
Although,
Did you
although
prefer it?
I did do Kelly Clarkson
Okay, and that was in
in
studio.
person. Yeah,
How is she?
she's so great.
Yeah?
She's really fun. She's authentic, and
I know
she's-
nothing about Kelly Clarkson.
She's pretty cute.
She's cool?
Just, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't like the Zoom that much either, just because of the sound. It's so weird when one person's talking and then somebody else cuts out, and you're like, oh,
Oh, yeah, you keep stepping on
Yeah,
each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
it's like,
the
no,
worst.
no, you. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
And then it's like, okay, that was your time with that person in Dallas, and it's like, oh, sorry, Dallas.
Yeah, well, it also like makes the person look not as fancy.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's like I want to be like, my house is nice because it's all like blurry and like, like it's like in my kitchen, and I just like I feel like because the quality's bad, they're thinking I'm bad, and it's like no, this is just a Zoom.
Yeah.
It just doesn't feel as like
No, it's not.
glamorous.
It's not. I don't love it.
Are you the type of person that enjoys going to the press things? Like, so if you had to promote a thing, they're like, oh, you got to go do this, and then we're going to take you here, and then you're going to take photos here, and then you're going to go. Do you enjoy that, or is that a racket to you?
It can be both.
Okay.
Like when Curb comes out, it's really fun
Okay.
because, like the last time Curb came out, we went to New York and did the Today Show. So it was Larry and Jeff and Susie and
So
JB,
fun.
and so it's just hilarious hanging out with them in the green room. But when it's just you, not that hilarious. And you're
Yeah.
just like sitting in a weird green room with old donuts, and they're like, Cheryl, you ready? Yes.
Yeah. Wait,
I
who do you bring when you do those kind? Like, so you said alone, but like you didn't make someone like tag along with you?
I just bring my hair and makeup team, and they're
Okay.
nice.
And they're your friends.
Yeah, but it's still not.
And do you get the same questions like, so how's Larry? How's working with Larry?
What's Larry like?
Yeah.
Is it just nuts?
Is it just?
Is it just laughs all day over there?
It
Is
is.
the cast one big family?
You know, the thing is, when I watch, I think to myself, they must be such good friends.
They must have so much fun on
Ugh,
that show.
It's so annoying. Morning
Oh,
television is the
God.
lamest thing in the world. They're always very sweet, but like they're the most like Mormon environment in the hit.
Yes.
It's like you'll say something that's not even edgy, and they're like, "Whoa!"
Right.
Whoa,
You
okay.
say ovaries, and they're like,
what?
"Oh, it's
I
a
know.
morning show."
Seriously,
It's a
we
body
ate on
part.
Better Late Than Never. We ate pork vagina. Like that's one of the things at this like little back alley thing. And they asked me on the Today Show, which I love those guys. They're great. I
Yes,
love Cagney.
yes.
I love Hoda. And they're like, hey, you had to eat some pretty gross stuff on the show. And the trailer shows us eating the gross stuff. So they want to talk about it. And I was like, yeah, we ate, Rocky Mountain oysters. We had the blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, we had a pork vagina. And they're like, hey, whoa. And I was like, that's the medical term. Like if
It
there
could
was
have been
a...
so much worse.
If there was a chicken or pig gynecologist, that's what he'd be calling it.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah, I
That's
thought that was
true.
very
It was
annoying.
clinical.
Pig gynecologist.
Well, I will say that I am obsessed with it. Anytime I get to like be doing press or
We're
any
talking
of
about
those
Curb
things.
or...
Well, I'm
Oh, no,
obsessed with
just
Curb,
like-
but I'm
just
saying,
like-
when
Vagina.
I do press,
Okay.
I
Just to
love
say
the
one
attention.
thing
I
that's
love
like-
doing the interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you like doing all the
I
interviews.
love it.
Well, you like pushing their button, like see what you can get away with?
Well, not just that. No, I'm saying like I was asking her if she enjoys doing the press, or
Oh,
if it's
okay,
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
she
Get
likes
dressed up
doing
and
the
going.
project, and then the press part's just something she has
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Whereas like I love it. I think it's so fun. They're like, hey, is there any way you could be on Hollywood Game Night? I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
of
Oh, I
course.
can.
I get to drink and play with, like,
Yeah.
have fun, and then they're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
pay
Yeah.
me. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
No, I do like all of those. I love all of those. Actually, I just did a show and and then we called Larry after the show, and he was like, "You got to quit doing these shows." He's like, "You're cheapening our brand." I'm
He's
like,
kidding, right? Or maybe not.
Kidding, not kidding.
That's amazing.
He hates it. Like Larry just wants you to do Curb Your Enthusiasm, which is fine, but we shoot every 3 years.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, you have your own goals in career.
sure.
Exactly. I mean, it's
You're
like
promoting yourself as much as the
yeah,
show.
and I'm having fun, and it's I think it's fun doing ridiculous things. But yeah,
Yeah.
Larry hates it.
That's so. I would guess that he hates it.
Yeah,
for
he's
sure.
like, "Come on."
So you just did a thing with Kevin Hart. What's it called?
Celebrity Game Face.
That's how I would say it. That's
Celebrity
not a strong
Game Face.
reader.
Yeah, and it's like a quarantine, game show. So we played. So my stepdaughter Kira and I played against Thomas Lennon, and
Okay.
his wife Jenny, and then our other co-host
Yeah.
on I Can See Your Voice, Adrian,
And she played with her husband, right?
her husband Israel. Yeah.
So Terry did it with his daughter Rachel because they have a show coming out on E. Why did you play with your stepdaughter?
Well, I was going to play with Rachel Harris, but then I had and then I actually had to shoot something, but I don't know if I can announce it because
You had to shoot a thing.
a thing.
You know, when that comes out, you come right back here.
Yes,
Oh,
I'll be
yeah.
like, guess what the thing was? You'll be like,
Remember when
okay.
she teased
All
it?
right, we're booking an episode, another episode.
Yeah.
already.
Cheryl
That's
Hines.
great.
You're gonna be
She's
like,
yeah. What do they call you? A resident?
a resident detective?
Is that? Oh God.
That's what they're
We
calling
can make fun of that later.
No, but I was gonna play with Rachel Harris, and then I couldn't do it, and then they were like, well, do it the next weekend. So you have to kind of do it with somebody that you're quarantining with.
Oh, I see.
Because
They want to make it sound
Yeah.
like
You're
your
not out and
stepdaughter's
about.
not out hanging out with their friends.
Yeah,
and
that's
you're
what
not
they're
out shooting
Yeah.
TV shows and
That's
going to
right.
nice restaurants.
Whooping it up.
That's
I
the
like
thing.
To say.
That's what you strike me as the type to be out whooping it up.
Whooping it
Big
up.
whooper.
That's how
what they
those
do.
Kennedys are. They're always out whooping it
They
up.
love to whoop.
That's all they talk about.
They love
Wait,
it.
so does your stepdaughter like do anything? Is she? I mean, like as far as like, isn't she in the entertainment industry? Or
No,
is
she is in the fashion industry.
Cool.
Yeah. So she works for Redemption, a really beautiful clothing line.
Called Redemption.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know anything about clothes. It could be huge.
Yeah, me
I have
neither.
no idea.
No,
Do they
it's
sell it at Old Navy?
yeah, it's probably out of your
Do you know
fashion
Target?
league.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I know. Target. That's
Target.
the thing. Actually, these teas, I shouldn't even plug them because they're not giving them to me for free. But Fresh Clean Teas, have you heard of this service?
No,
I know so little about fashion.
but that sounds like the what's
The
the
band?
Yeah,
Plain
what's that?
White Tees?
Plain
Plain
white
White.
tees.
Well, these Fresh Clean Teas, they literally they take your dimensions and then they send you shirts every month that fit
Wow.
well. So you don't have to like shop or like have to care, and they
Okay.
just send you no prints or anything,
such
just
a guy
different colors
thing.
and
I
different
like that.
things.
That's a
Dude,
man's dream.
For a
Yeah.
lazy guy, that's like
Yeah.
the best.
You don't have to leave.
Well, I'm not a lazy guy, but when it comes to fashion, I am very
You're
lazy.
not out there
Dude.
like at Saks. I was gonna say Barney's, but Barney's closed. Sad.
Well, I live by the fashion mall, and like you can't even go in there.
Oh right.
Yeah, they
'Cause
get mad.
everything's-
I went because I go in through the employee part because I'm on
Uh-huh.
the back side of the mall, which is fantastic. But it was me and a girl. We went through the little security. The way I used to always go, I'd sneak in like I'm an employee. No one's gonna say anything.
No, nobody cares.
They don't know. They don't. So and
They
there's so
don't know
many
that you don't
employees in
work
the
at the
mall.
Gap.
Yeah, I was just like,
Yeah.
I own Hot Topic or whatever. Like I'll just be like, I manage PacSun. I don't know what's in this mall. The Cinnabon, Orange Julius. I don't know. So I go in and just walk through, and it's all dark, and everyth's caged up, and I was like, oh, this mall's closed. Not even the food court's open. And there must have been 5 security guards that like saw it on camera, like just a guy and a girl like coming in through there.
They're
And,
like, yes, action.
dude, it was.
Action.
It was
Like
like
a
the
lockdown.
TSA. It's like when TSA finds
They're like,
like a
here we
knife
go,
in a bag.
boys.
They're
This is
like,
what
Get
we're waiting
ready.
for.
it was the most security like that I've ever seen in my life. And they started asking me questions like, I go through there all the time. I was just seeing if the mall is open. I guess it's not.
Like you're trying to bring COVID into this mall.
And I think I had it at that time.
Oh, perfect.
Perfect.
The mall was empty,
See,
so I
are
think
you
that's a
glad
safe
you're wearing a
place.
face
I
mask?
really am
yeah.
now.
That's a safe place to have COVID, an empty mall.
An empty mall.
Yeah, true.
I'm going to get so much shit for this episode.
Yeah.
Well, that good thing is all my fans know that I'm never serious, so it's fine. I wanted to ask you, okay, so the show that we were on
Yes.
is called I Can See Your Voice.
Yes.
It comes out,
September 23rd.
nice, okay, September 23rd. You are a resident detective,
That's right.
which is the worst part of the show, that title. That title is the worst
I don't
part.
know why.
The show's
That's
fun.
not your
It is
nickname.
fun.
That's like a.
That's what they're
That's,
calling
Part of
the
the
people
show.
that are
That's
trying
my
to
job.
figure it out.
Oh, okay.
It was odd when when we got that title.
Well, they came up with it late, too.
Yeah, it was just
They're like, now we're calling you. You're like, what? You're halfway through the season.
resident detective.
So bad.
I'm not sure, but you say, yeah, somebody at Fox was like, you know what people love? Detectives.
Well, can't they call themselves that? Like, be at-home detectives or something?
Yeah.
We don't need...
But by the way, you were also a
I was
detective
also a
on
detective.
the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But you're a resident detective with
You're a
Adrian.
resident detective.
Yeah, she's the every episode.
Right.
Which is so funny when they sent out offers. I don't even know if I should be sharing this. They were like, so nobody's doing every episode, just so you know. Like, you know, we're gonna pop people in. It's gonna be fun. It's always like a rotating kind of panel. People love that. I'm friends with Arsenio, so Arsenio was like, oh yeah, I think I booked an episode on that. That'll be fun. I'll see you down there. Blah blah. And then you were there, and I was like so excited to meet you. I'll tell that story in a second.
Note to self.
That's my note.
Wow.
Just drawing
Drew a
pictures.
hand.
Drew a
I
hand.
drew a hand. No, so and And then I was so excited to meet you, and it was so fun to sit by you because I just kept like saying stupid jokes to you that like people probably not everyone could hear. And but then the next time I did it, they're like, "Oh, so you'll be on with Robin Thicke again, Cheryl?" And I was like, "Oh, Cheryl's doing it again." And she's like, "Well, she's on every episode." And I was like, "I was told."
You're like, wait a second.
I was told
Wait a
earlier
second,
when my
wait.
agent was super excited that we booked another show that because we were like, yeah, how many? What, that'd be good at this many episodes at this rate. And they're like, no one's doing every episode. And you and Adrian are doing every episode.
Yeah, we ended up doing. Yeah,
It's
we
great.
did every
I'm
episode.
happy for you guys.
I'm so happy
I'm
for
Jealous
you guys.
of you guys. Well, it'd be great to be with you guys every day.
It was
So,
fun. It was really fun having you. We had a good time.
Explain to the people this
What the show
complicated
is.
show.
I can see your voice. Okay, it's hosted by Ken Jeong.
Hilarious.
He is hilarious and fantastic. So then I'll try to make this fast because there are 6 secret voices on the show. So these people come in dressed.
Whoa, what do you mean by these people?
These people. These people. They're all in a character.
Okay.
They have a character. Like it might be a nurse and an accountant.
Which is the weird part too. Like they put him in the shtick.
A regular detective.
Like yeah, oh my god, that'd be amazing.
Oh, the detective against the detective.
Yeah. Did they ever do that?
We haven't seen that.
That'd be
yet.
amazing.
Detective
A
fights.
football player,
Season
and they're in
2.
their big stupid football pads, and it's a
Yes.
girl, and you're like, I'm pretty sure she's not a real football player.
Yeah.
She's
So
30.
what
I
is-
don't think she plays pro football.
So is that supposed to be their real job, or is it like?
Well, that's the thing, you
Well,
gotta
this
figure
is
it out.
what's. This is where the
This is where the
detectives
detective
come
comes
in.
in.
So first we see these 6 people, and there's a contestant who can win $100,000, which, by the way, is a lot of money.
I know.
I mean, some of these game shows is like 10,000, which is still a lot of money, but it's not like life changing.
Sure.
Like 100,000.
100 grand.
That's
You could, like,
pretty
put a-
good
you
for
can-
one day.
Yeah. So you kind of feel it on this show because you
Yeah.
really want these guys to win this money. I mean, was one you were on? Oh yeah,
Yeah, we got a good story,
can't-
but it might
no,
be
we
a
can't talk about it.
So is the
But
contestant?
it gets intense.
There was a thing where me and Cheryl might have.
No,
Oh,
it
no.
gets
Got in
intense.
some trouble.
Let's just say
We'll cut
after
this
the
out.
show, I was like texting Jeff. I'm like, oh, hey, are you drinking right now? He's like, yeah, I'm
I
drinking.
sent her a photo of my whiskey, like, ooh.
I was like, we got to drink.
I also was afraid Fox was gonna like get so mad at me, but they didn't. And you'll all see what we're talking about when the show comes out.
Okay, so the 6 people, and then the contestant has to. The goal of the show is to eliminate all the singers that the contestant thinks are bad singers, and hopefully they're left with one singer who's a good singer. So at the end of the show, they can bet all their money that that person remaining is a good singer.
Right.
So there's.
Wow, Cheryl, that
so-
wasn't concise
So
at
is
all.
there no singing until the end?
No,
Or you hear a voice and you have
No.
to match the voice?
No, it's straight. So here's how I've been explaining it.
Yeah, but you do
So
it.
it's like Masked Singer in reverse, right? In Masked
Okay.
Singer, there's a person in there that you hear sing, but
Right.
you don't know who it is.
Right.
With this, you know who they are, or they could be lying, but you see a person, and you've got to decide if they can sing without ever hearing their voice.
Okay.
So lip syncing.
Right.
Maybe
whisper challenge.
whisper challenge.
Did we have the whisper
I
challenge?
think Fox got so mad at me because I was just like, the whisper thing was like so preposterous. Like the guy goes, they're like, all right, now you're gonna hear him whisper. Do you think you can tell if it? And he's like, seashells, seashells. And I was like, oh, there's no way to know if a guy can sing based on his
Yeah.
whisper. I was like, I don't know, can I see him swim? Because maybe that'll help me know if he sings.
It is just well,
Silly,
especially
it's
because we're
fun.
geared up because we think that we're going to.
Hear someone sing?
Yeah, we think we're going to hear something that would be
Right.
helpful, and it's really just.
You guys are
somebody-
great at coming up with. Yeah.
And you're like, what?
You guys are
That's-
great too at being like, well, you know.
The voice
The way
control.
that the way that the throat did that
larynx,
was a very like muscular kind of. That's what
yeah,
happens when you
contraction.
sing.
There's really good breath control.
But he could be faking it. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
it's always a back and forth.
Yeah. So the good singers are telling the truth about everything. So if a good singer is dressed as a nurse, then they really are a nurse.
Yeah, it's either all a lie or all
Right.
all mostly true.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really fun. So here's the thing. I
Almost
will say this. I don't think I'll get in trouble for this, but when we did the pilot, I was like, this is so stupid. I was like, this is the stupidest. You know, we're comedians. I make fun of stuff. I was like, this is really stupid. And then once we played, I found myself getting carried away. Like,
I know,
oh.
you're really invested.
And you start arguing with the people that you're detectives with, and it's just really fun. And so, like, if you're watching the trailer of the show, I can see your voice. You might go, "That's dumb," but then play along with us, it's really fun.
Yeah, if you watch it, it's sweet because you can watch it with your family, which is nice because there
It's
aren't.
like a game night with your
Yeah,
family.
it's a game night with your family, and you fight about
Yeah.
if you think this person's going to be a good singer or not.
Right.
But it's immediate gratification because you see these characters, and then you have to vote one of them out. And you get to hear them sing immediately.
Oh, okay.
So the lights go down and the
It's all this
fog
tension.
machine, and they come out, and you're like, oh my God. Oh my
Yeah.
God. And you're sure, like some of these people, you're sure that they're going to be an amazing singer. And you're like, that dude can sing.
Yeah.
Trust me. And then you can hear a pin drop in the studio, and so much money is on the line, and they start singing, and you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, and
so-
if they sing good, it's disappointing because they thought that they couldn't. But you didn't get to listen to a nice song because they sing really good.
Yeah, there are some really
But
great
if they sing
singers.
bad, you don't mind listening to the bad singing because you're like, well, good.
Like,
We made
yeah,
the
they
right
just
choice.
won the money. Yeah.
So is there only one good singer in that group
No.
of 6?
No,
Or is there-
Sometimes there's a lot. Sometimes there's
okay.
a few.
Yeah, there's no set amount, which is also
Really weird. Because you know what I'm saying?
because we don't know if there's one good singer and
Yeah,
5
and then
bad
you're just
singers.
like going through 5 bad singers
Yeah.
all that time.
You know what's great too is originally the format was that if the singer sang bad at the very end, he gets the money instead of the contestant, which they changed obviously. And
he
I
should
wonder
get
if they
some.
changed it because during the pilot, they were going over the news or the structure again, the format, and they were like, all right, so if he sings good, you're gonna win, blah 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 blah, and if he sings bad, he's gonna win, blah blah blah. And I go, why doesn't he just sing bad on purpose?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then everyone was like, oh crap, that's,
And then the next year you see him with a recording contract.
he's like
and
really good singer, but he's like, I had to get that money. What do you want me to
You need to
do?
make that album.
The show's crazy fun, and also to go back to what I was saying a second ago, Masked Singer seemed really dumb when it first came out, and it's so fun.
It's so fun. Yeah, Masked Singer. I didn't watch it because it did not seem to appeal to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I talked to my sister, who's, she's a smart lady. She teaches college. I go home and she's like, "Well, we got to watch Masked Singer." I was like,
You're
"What?
like, you watch Masked Singer?
What?" And she, I sat down and watched it with her, and it was fun and hilarious. And
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh, I get it." I mean, I don't know that I understand it, but I totally.
I love that you were like, this person's educated and
Yeah.
still likes this garbage.
Well, but, famously, people that their entertainment doesn't have to be as intellectual as
Yeah,
them. You know what I'm
sure.
saying?
Well, yeah, some people just want
Exactly.
to watch it just for some stupid...
Well,
They
some
love pro
escape.
wrestling.
Yeah,
That's like the
some
Yeah,
least.
escape and fantasy,
it's
and
fun.
Yep.
yeah, it's nice that you're
Just turn your brain off and...
yeah, and just see people being silly, which actually I can see your voice is very good at. I mean,
Yeah,
the thing
it's
about
silly.
this
Well,
Well,
show
it
is
seems like it's a little...
it's more fun.
Just like Masked Singer, it's like you engage in
Yeah.
it instead of Dancing with the Stars. You're just
Right.
watching
Right.
people
right.
try and
Which,
dance.
by the way, I also thought Dancing with the Stars. I was like, that's a ridiculous
Right.
idea.
Like, who wants to watch people
And then,
dance?
by the way, cut to I'm home watching Dancing with the Stars.
40
crying.
seasons.
Still. And I'm just like, she's trying
And
so
my
hard.
grandma was
Emmett
90,
Smith can
100 years
boogie.
old, is watching it.
Yeah. And you can talk about it with your
Yeah.
grandma. Be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, can you believe?
One criticism of Dancing with the Stars, which I'm not under contract over there anyways. I mean, really? Are they stars anymore?
Oh.
No, and I'm not criticizing.
Right.
I mean, as a guy who every time I'm on a show, people go, "Why is he on here?" As
Totally.
I've been on 40 shows, and every time the tweets are just like, "Where did they find this guy?" It's like, shut up.
No, yeah, exactly.
But this season of Dancing with the Stars is Carol Baskin,
Yep.
Yeah.
Charles Oakley, the old Nick,
Mm-hmm.
who's awesome.
Yeah.
Nev
another guy.
Schumann from Catfish.
All right.
I think that's his name, Nev something,
There's another
N-E-V.
athlete.
And then that's the only person I knew out
No,
of
but
all
Anne
the stars.
Heche.
I don't know who that is.
Oh.
You don't know Anne Heche?
I don't think
Remember,
so.
she's an actress, and then
actress.
she kind of. I don't want to talk.
We,
Yeah.
we can
No,
edit-
you should
we
be-
can
Well,
edit
she
that out.
had a
Little falling out with success or
a
something.
bit of a psychotic break or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something about wandering around on the PCH. Okay, listen.
Hey, that's just something you read. It's not.
Hey.
You're not saying anything bad
yeah,
about it.
I'm
Some
not.
of the
I'm not
best.
gossiping.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
not
What
saying.
happened to some of the best?
You
Yeah.
can
Tracy
Google it.
Morgan.
Miley Cyrus,
Things happen.
me,
In
Britney,
Malibu,
in San
things
Diego
happen
this
in-
week.
What happened?
Oh no,
Yeah.
but I was gonna say is Really, it's just dancing with people you might have seen on television before. Like, it's like really weird.
But what's interesting about it is, yeah, you start out at the beginning of the season saying, I don't even know this person. And by the end of it, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's true. You start rooting for
Milo has to win this.
Yeah.
You know
Apollo
what?
Ono is the guy I hoped he
That's
would
what it's
be.
become. Is like some like celebrities and their managers like you got to get on Dance with the Stars to get your career back on track.
And it
helps.
It's successful, and people have a good time doing it, and America falls in love with them, and I don't know, it's cute.
So
Sweet.
I got a question for you. Can you sing?
No, I'm terrible.
You don't sing good. So you wouldn't do Masked Singer if they asked you?
No. No, because I've had to sing in 2 films. Okay, I sang in RV.
I loved that movie,
Robin
by the way.
Williams.
Yeah.
And Barry Sonnenfeld was the director, and there was a scene where the family's all listening to their own music, singing, and Robin's being tortured because he has to listen to it all. And so Barry said, will you sing Little GTO? And I was like, yeah, but I'm not a good singer. He goes, that's even better.
That's funnier, yeah.
He's like, it's just sing however you would sing, and then if we need to make it funnier, we'll work on it. I was like, okay. I said, I'm to the best of my ability, I'm going to do this, just so you could see what we're starting with. He's like, great. We go into an RV, we record it, and it got the earphones on. Nobody can hear the music but me, which is also hideous.
That's so unfair.
Oh, it's so terrible. And Barry's sitting next to me, but I'm not making eye contact because I'm really focusing on my notes. And and I'm like,
are you doing
that's
that?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's funny.
And I look over, and Barry is crying.
Yeah.
He's like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. And he said, please, we're not ever redoing it. And I was like, and then the next morning when I went to set, the crew had downloaded just my vocals of GTO, and they were like, that's fantastic.
Amazing.
That shows you got a good sense of humor. You let the whole crew download the thing.
No, I didn't have anything to do with it.
Wait, but you didn't get mad and like have
Could you
throw a
imagine
fit.
if I went back to my trailer? I was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
Tell everybody.
The last time I saw my parents, I came home and I'm sitting there and they said, "Have you seen this new show? It is so funny. It's called Big Bang Theory." And I stood up and I left their house. And we haven't spoken since.
I like that. That's where you draw the line.
I said enough.
Well, that's okay. Well, by the way, whenever I talk to my mom about Curb Your Enthusiasm, she's like, well, I don't particularly get it.
Oh, wow.
And I don't appreciate the language.
Oh, my gosh. That's so
And I'm
funny.
like, okay, you don't have to get it, Mom. I don't even, to be honest with you, I don't like watching it.
You're like, no,
you
I kind of
also-
got that from the first part, Mom.
You don't have to keep going.
You don't have to watch it. It's okay. And she's like, well, you're on it, so I feel like I should watch it. I'm
Wait,
like,
where's she from? You did a...
she's
That's
from
very southern.
Jacksonville, Florida, so she lives in Tallahassee.
Okay.
Yeah, she's very southern.
Yeah,
When she met Larry,
which is sweet.
oh my God, those two. Larry,
You think he would respect a person like that who's just like unapologetically
Yeah.
like...
well, he's like, Rosemary, what have you been up to? And she's like, well, I just went to a shrimp festival. And that, and I see Larry's like, shrimp festival. Oh, what happens at a shrimp festival? Oh, all kinds of stuff with shrimp. It's just like, oh my God.
Now that's gonna
And
he's gonna
then-
obsess about
Oh,
that. Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's just like, what else? Well, you can make shrimp pot holders. What is a shrimp pot holder? And I'm just kicking him under the table.
Is
And
this a scene in Forrest Gump?
yeah, it did. It did
Sounds like that,
start
yeah.
to sound like that because he did make her list all of the things
my
that you can do
gosh.
with shrimp. And after lunch, my mom and I were walking back to our car. I said, "Did you like him?" And she says, "He was nice, but he didn't know anything about shrimp." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
my
that's why he's asking so many questions. He couldn't imagine
Like, you
a whole
guys-
festival for shrimps. That is wild.
Yeah.
Big shrimp community in Jacksonville?
Yes. Well, well, especially Tallahassee because we're on the Gulf.
Yeah.
And you know what's gross? Have you ever been to an oyster festival?
No,
Okay. I don't know why we're sidelining here, but I went to an oyster festival.
it's probably pretty similar to a shrimp festival.
It's very similar,
Kind of.
except there's an oyster eating contest.
Oh,
gross.
That is
roster.
beyond.
That's gross.
this-
How many you can eat?
They put them in gallon jugs.
Oh,
no. You just
Yeah. So imagine you're in Florida
So
and it's
who
100.
finishes it first?
It's 110
drink a
degrees
jug
outside.
of oysters?
Yes.
Oh.
These guys. I mean, I don't remember any women being in the oyster eating contest.
Which
but-
is a shame because it's an aphrodisiac. So these guys are going to be real
Just a
horny.
bunch of horny.
and
A
they're just
gallon of
they're
it.
just drinking.
Yeah.
And people are cheering, and then of course,
Puking.
yeah. But if you throw up, you don't win.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
What if I throw up watching? Does that hurt anybody's chances?
Oh, believe me.
You win.
Oh, believe
Sounds
me.
horrible.
It's
gross.
disgusting.
Yeah.
But so yeah, the shrimp festival is much more sophisticated.
Did you grow up like very southern?
Pretty southern. I mean,
Yeah.
my dad drove a pickup truck, and we would sit in the back of the truck,
Nice.
like on lawn chairs on the highway.
While
Hi.
driving?
Lawn chairs on the highway.
Wow.
Keeping it safe
Wait,
for
and
your
so
children.
did you grow up in Jacksonville then?
I grew up in Winter Haven, Florida, when I was
Okay.
young, which is a really small town outside of Orlando,
Okay.
and then Tallahassee.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you're like a southern gal.
I am a southern gal.
And also a Florida success story because, Florida gets a bad rap. People are
we
mean
do
to
get
Florida.
a bad rap, but people are nuts there.
People are nuts everywhere.
That's true. People
Yeah,
are nuts
that's true.
everywhere.
Like Florida has like some fantastic people, and like I always think like Florida should be like 7 different states.
It should. There
It's
are
so
so
different.
many categories in Florida.
I'll be driving, I'm like, dude, I don't know what everyone's talking about, like how Florida people are so crazy and blah blah blah. Like it seems like a nice old people here, and then you'll drive like 40 minutes, you're like, oh, this area.
Yeah. No,
This
I know.
is what they're talking about.
It's
and
true.
you drive 40 more minutes and it's just rich, cool people. And
Right.
you're like, oh, this is different. And then Miami's like, and then you're like,
Right.
oh, that's different.
That's
It's all
Florida.
different.
Yeah, it is. It's all very different. And the beaches are very interesting because they're really beautiful
Yeah.
beaches, really beautiful. but then sometimes the communities there are real, how do we say?
Gently.
I like
Down
when
to
Cheryl
earth.
starts into a sentence. She's rolling, and then it kind of takes like oh, wait a minute.
She's very good at self-editing herself.
Yeah, I don't
So,
know.
Let me
didn't
see
she have a
how
big
I-
mental?
Oh, Google it. You guys Google it.
She was on the freeway,
Blurry-
wandering.
blurry spot?
I don't want to talk badly about people. Look, everybody's got their thing.
Yeah,
But there are some people in Florida,
they're crazy.
We're
tube
nuts.
tops, tank tops, and flip flops,
And
Yeah.
math, yeah.
and that's like your going out outfit. But it's
That's
all,
them dolled up.
them
But
dolled
what
I got
makes
my
so
good flip-flops.
when a young Cheryl Hines, like what did you you said you went to college for TV production.
Yeah,
But when you were young,
Yeah.
what did you think you wanted to do?
I thought I wanted to be an actor.
Really?
Yeah, I thought I wanted to be an actor. I always knew. So even in high school, I knew, and I didn't think I was going to go to college because I felt like I want to be an actor.
Right.
And so I actually went to beauty school after high school because I knew I wasn't going. Nobody's going to pay me to be an actress after I graduate high school. So I thought I would get a cosmetology license and be able to cut hair
Smart.
and and go on auditions. So I went to beauty school. I got my cosmetology license. I mean, that was back in the day.
But was it a nightmare back then too? Like now it's like 700 girls who are all stuck with each other and they kind of are all catty and like mean to each other.
No,
and cliquey.
no. So this was Tallahassee. So this was like our little.
You were the
group.
beauty school.
Yeah, it was me and maybe 3 other young people, and the rest were mostly like middle-aged women who sort of raised their kids, and it was like, no, what am I going to do now? I've always wanted
wow.
to be. So it was quite an interesting mix
Yeah.
because we would stay up all night partying and then come into beauty school, roll each other's hair, and sleep under the dryer. And my instructor was like, you guys are.
None of this makes sense.
No,
to me.
we were on like probation. Like if
Oh.
you don't straighten up, you're all gonna get kicked out. We're like, go ahead.
kicked
You're
out of
gonna
beauty
school.
Oh, the dean
I'll
of
drive
beauty
to the
school. It's like an 80s movie.
I'll drive to the next town's beauty school.
You guys got one more shot at this
It
beauty
was.
school.
It was a lot like that. It was a lot like that.
You're too hungover to roll your hair.
Well, we were dealing with some very deadly chemicals because that was in the heyday of perms and Jerry curls.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And
What,
it's
the
no
Aquanet?
joke.
The,
Aquanet, that's the
wasn't the
least of our
hairspray?
worries.
But that's still
Yes.
bad for the...
Yeah, I mean, no, it's bad for
everything,
everything.
Well, yeah, but she means like dangerous, not for the environment, for your hands.
Oh yeah,
and
this is
everything.
like
yeah.
no.
Oh,
we
yeah,
were burning
sure.
people's scalps
Oh,
and
Jesus.
hair falling out in the sink. Yeah, it was like it's serious.
It's really
Oh,
funny.
wow.
That's why you have to go to school for it. But then so after beauty school, I started cutting hair, and all my friends were in college, and I felt like, oh no, am I missing something?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to major in acting, so I started going to school, and then I had to change my major. Oh, I couldn't major in acting because I had to put myself through school. So my family had no money.
Okay.
So I waitressed at night, and I did hair in the daytime to save some money. But when you are an acting major, you have to do the productions at night,
That sucks.
which makes sense, because it's like you have to be in.
What you
Yeah.
think you can just learn about it? You don't have to like be in the plays, right?
Well, you gotta show
Well,
you can
That's
do
probably the
it.
best way to learn. But I'm saying
Yeah.
like as
Right.
far as like
It's-
they're making you do
I
this
know it's
extracurricular.
No, it sucks if it. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like I guess it's like film production, right? It's like, well, you can learn about it, but you still need to make a
Yeah,
film.
Still,
that's
yeah.
true.
So I was really sad, and I had to change my major, and I changed it to television production, and I'm really glad I did because I learned a lot. Although everything's changed now.
Right?
I mean, we're not like I mean, back then. Listen,
What was the
we don't need to
production?
talk about.
I mean, I was a TV production major.
You did?
In early 2000s, and even that
It's
is
completely
obsolete.
different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we had the cartridges,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you were always like,
You had to we had to splice reel
Yes,
to reel.
we
and
had to
stuff,
splice
just
reel
to
to
kinda
reel.
know what you're doing
Yeah.
in the program.
right. So
Now
you
you don't
knew.
need to
But
do
it's
any of
funny
that.
though to me that you went from you're like, oh, so not the beauty school thing, but the TV production. But you knew you didn't want to be on that side of the
No, I didn't.
camera.
No, I didn't. But it.
You're like, just in case I might PA. It's like,
Yeah.
no,
Well, yeah.
you're the star. You're not gonna like do that. Especially not now. It's not like no matter how bad things get, you were not gonna like go, hey, is there any? Do you need someone to help with lighting?
Yeah.
Well, no, but it's
Do you
true.
need
But
like,
an
is that
extra,
Cheryl
you need an extra
Hines?
key
You're
grip
like-
on the.
no, but I
Why
have.
is Cheryl Hines on the audio?
No, but you do have to do that if you ever direct anything
Oh, I
or
see.
Sure,
produce
yeah, yeah.
anything.
Directing, yeah, you got to know all the departments.
Yeah, because shit goes down.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the hard part of directing is you can't even imagine what's going to happen. You can't
Yeah.
imagine what.
Well, every department's
Problems.
coming up like, I have a question for you. I have a question.
Oh, all those
pick one.
departments.
Pick one of these.
And then it's like, oh, there's a frog that's being really loud during Meg Ryan's scene. It's like, okay.
I don't-
They didn't teach you that in college?
The frog was ruining the sound.
That's
and it
so
was just-
weird.
And we were like, okay, crew, we will give somebody $1,000 to find that fucking frog. So, and just like, oh, it's raining. You can hear the rain, on the soundstage. And it's just
Yeah.
every day. It's, oh, the prop guy brought in the wrong flowers. It's like, well, that
Yeah,
That
I don't
doesn't
need-
work 'cause
why
we-
is someone telling me that?
Yeah.
right.
I'm the director.
When you guys figure that out, call me.
Cheryl, can you go stop that rain?
Yeah, exactly. But so it was. So yeah, I mean, at the time, I was really sad that
Yeah.
I changed my major because I did feel like
Are you gonna direct?
I have
Oh,
directed.
you do direct.
I actually directed an episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm last
Nice.
season, which was fun. But I directed a feature film with Meg Ryan and Timothy Hutton and Kristen Bell and Justin Long.
And a
Holy
frog.
crap.
That was
What was it called?
intense. It's called Serious Moonlight.
Serious Moonlight.
Yeah, it was intense.
Didn't
for
you guys
a lot
win
of
an
reasons.
Oscar?
I believe that was just Moonlight.
Oh,
What if I just?
I didn't see
I
either.
start-
I felt a little foolish. You said Moonlight. I thought, oh,
You're
that
like,
one
yeah,
did good.
that was a good one. No, Serious Moonlight. You want me to talk about that?
Yeah, of course.
I
I
mean-
just didn't know you directed. That's awesome. That's cool.
Well, it came about in a very interesting way. I mean, I don't want to take this down a sad road, but anyway, I was in a movie called Waitress
okay.
with Carrie Russell and Adrienne Shelley. Adrienne Shelley wrote, directed, and starred in this little film, Waitress. And we had a great time. It was like down and dirty. We shot it in 20 days. And,
Wow.
it was just like everybody on their A game. And before the film came out at Sundance, Adrienne Shelley was murdered
Oh my
in
goodness.
in Manhattan. She was in her apartment writing, and it's a sad story.
Yeah.
Google it
Man.
on your own time. But as a matter of fact, my friend Andy Ostroy, who was married to Adrienne, is making a documentary about her life that's going to be on HBO.
Yeah, that's
fascinating.
Was it like I'm obviously going to
Yeah.
Google it, but for anyone that's
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
was she murdered by someone she knew, or was
No,
it? Oh,
it was a
no.
stranger. It was somebody, a guy who was on the construction crew outside of her apartment, who apparently followed her up to her
Oh, jeez.
apartment and murdered her, and then made it look like a suicide.
Oh no.
So it's
That's
just-
like what every like gun commercial wants you to think happens like all the
Yeah.
time in every city.
Right.
That's why you gotta like it's
Well,
like that,
I
those
know.
are the stories you think that probably doesn't happen that much.
Right.
But like that's what they want to put in your brain. Like
Right.
get a firearm. you know?
But by the way, even if she had a firearm,
Wouldn't
what
matter.
is she? What
Yeah.
can you do? A guy is like, you're walking into your apartment
Yeah.
and he's like right behind you.
You got to run to the
bursting
gun
door.
safe. Put
Yeah.
in the code.
So Adrian, so this movie Waitress aired at or premiered at Sundance, and it was a successful premiere. It was very charming. It was a very sweet movie, and then it went on to go into theaters and everybody loved it. And Andy Ostroy, who was Adrian's husband, contacted me and said, Adrian had written a script called Serious Moonlight, and are you interested in directing it?
It's awesome.
I was like, are you talking to
Nice.
me?
Yeah. You're like,
Wait.
I would love to, but you didn't read the script. You're like, I mean, send me the script. I'll take a look.
I'm like, wow, why are you asking me? It was all like,
Yeah.
dropped out of the
Had you
universe.
shown any interest? to
No,
direct at the time?
not at all.
Jeff Garland just sent me a script to read that
Ooh,
he's directing.
exciting.
And, he's like consider me for a role. And all I thought to myself was like, oh, Jeff, you're gonna have to read 114 pages. Because for me, it's like every book I've ever
torture.
read, I listen to. Like I order the Audible version, and then I buy the hard book and put it on my shelf. So, I read it, but I just listened to it. And all the things I know are from documentaries. So you can't do that with a script
You should
someone
you
sends
should email back at. Do you have an Audible
Yeah,
version
can
of
you,
this?
can you read this?
Can you read this
And
out
then
loud
send me
for
the
me?
audio file of you read it. But I sat up here on that computer and I just was grueling fantastic script. And also there's this sense of I read the whole thing. There's kind
Great.
of a pride
Isn't
of
that great for
finishing
me?
something.
Are you impressed that I read it?
Look what I read. But that's so funny. So you read the whole thing and you liked it?
Read the whole thing. I liked it. And so anyway, cut to I directed this film with this amazing cast, and we shot it in 15 days, which is
Wow.
absurd.
That's so quick.
Knowing what I know now,
Yeah.
I would never do that again.
Or you'd make it longer, right? 30 days.
Yeah,
or
your
so-
shoot would have to be longer. Have to be longer.
Was it like a minimal location or something? How-
Yeah, it was mostly.
It all takes
Place-
place in a phone booth.
You're close
Casket.
Really?
in a bathroom.
You're
Oh.
kidding. It's like your podcast with Tig Notaro.
It is. It's like my podcast, so I'm just
Is the
sitting in the
podcast
closet.
based on the
Yeah. She loves just being in small locations with
Tiny
people. Yeah.
places.
Serious Bathroom? The podcast.
Yes.
I like that you and Tig started a podcast in a closet during a pandemic.
Yeah, we did.
It's amazing.
And now our producer, whenever he sees me on some other call and I'm not in my closet, he's like, "Wow, it's hard to."
Picture you. out.
Yeah, I can't.
I don't recognize you.
I
without
can
the-
only
the
picture
dresses
you
and
with
the
all
shoes.
your clothes behind you.
That's
So
really
dumb.
funny. What is it with actors though? What is this? It's so statistically preposterous to become a successful person in show
Yes.
business. It really is.
Yes.
To be in show business, hard, but to be successful in show business is preposterous.
Yes.
And then all of them go, maybe I'll do directing. Was that part of the plan? I never thought I'd be on TV or on television shows. I just wanted to be a comedian. That's what I
Right.
wanted. I thought I'd stay in Seattle.
Right.
I'd work the circuits. I'd drink. I'd hang out with girls. That was the goal, the dream.
Yeah.
And then the second I got on Last Comic Standing, they're like, if you move to LA, I'll put you on TV shows. And that happened immediately. And I was like,
Well,
oh,
then
I
it
guess
never
I'm
happens.
doing TV things.
I guess-
I'm not qualified. I don't know how
Well,
to
that's the
host. I don't know how to
thing.
whatever.
There's no.
But so you knew you wanted to be an actor even when you were
Yes.
very young.
Yeah.
And then when did directing start making you go, you know what, maybe that would be.
Well, I produced a TV show called Campus Ladies. Actually, gave Jonah Hill his first
Really?
job, if you
Nice.
I mean,
Um,
you don't mention that enough.
will. No, we gotta get that out
you gotta
there.
keep
Yeah.
saying that.
So I produced that series, and my husband at the time, Paul Young, who's still a very good friend of mine, he was producing with me, and he's like, "You should direct one of these episodes." And I was like, "Oh, I haven't thought about that." But then when I stepped back and thought about it, it's like, yeah, that actually makes sense. It's my show. I know what the actors in the story and what the story we're trying to tell. So, so it was fun, and I did it, and then I've just directed stuff ever since.
Yeah.
But it's interesting.
What's more fun? 'Cause
Well,
directing seems more stressful.
it's very stressful.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But there's a part of it that's really exciting, like on the film.
Yeah.
When the post production, I really like the post production, which is probably like
Yeah.
for a director to say that's like, okay, it's all about images, but fine. But it was really fun. I went to New York and they scored the movie.
Nice.
So you get there in the studio and all these musicians.
Do they have like an orchestra?
Yeah.
Oh,
There are
wow.
these musicians with the sheet music they've never seen. They're watching the picture and they're playing the violin.
They're like winging it.
I'm telling
Oh,
you,
dude.
I've never
They just read the
seen
music?
That's real art.
anything like it. And I said to the music director, I was like, I don't understand how they're doing this. They've never worked together. And he said, well, that's what actors do. He's like,
Yeah.
you guys sometimes you've never met anybody and you get there in the morning, you've never rehearsed and you do your scene. It's like, that's true. But what they're doing seems harder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so
Oh, for
fascinated
sure.
by like different types of art. Like, so people come to me and go, dude, I could never do stand-up comedy. And I'm like, yeah,
That's
but
hard.
like,
It seems hard.
you're doing really good
Well, they're, like,
acting.
painting
you know?
a mural.
And then we're watching orchestra going, how the hell are they? Like,
I
everyone
know.
is so blown away by the other
Yeah.
thing, but I can't consider any of that. Like, I see I did a movie and I was really proud of myself. And then, here I am now. I'm like, oh, I'm going to add actor to my chops. Where I was just like some cute boy that was married to Anna Camp. And I think I'm an actor now. And then I went home and watched, what's that movie with Sean Penn where it's about like child molestation?
Oh.
The river one, Mystic River.
Mystic River. Then I watched Mystic River and that
Oh, yeah.
scene where pans up with Sean Penn. I was like, oh, wait, that's acting.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's really
What am
acting.
I doing?
You're like, no, you shouldn't. Oh yeah. You mean Sean Penn? We're the same.
Well, same-
We
same.
did the same
I
thing.
can't
Totally
put
same.
actor on my business card
Sure
after
you
watching
can.
that.
Same.
That was incredible.
It's different types of acting.
You're technically an
true.
actor.
I mean, ask Larry David. He hates to hear actors talk about their process. He's like,
really?
it's not that hard. If you act like you have a stomach ache, you hold your stomach and you go, my stomach hurts. Like,
I somewhat.
actually,
It's so rude to people like Sean Penn or like yourself. However, I do agree with what he's saying. If it's just like a TV, like a
comedy.
loose comedy.
Yeah.
Broad
So it's like
comedy.
my nieces and nephews. I'll watch them pretend. And
Yeah.
It's very. I mean, we've been doing it our whole lives of just
Right.
like pretend. But I think that acting reaches a certain level where that's disrespectful to them.
yeah,
For sure.
But he's talking about like just you just pretend.
Yeah, you just pretend.
Isn't that what you guys do? You improv and pretend on the show?
Yeah, it's all improvised.
It's all
the
100%.
dialogue. Yeah.
How many times will he?
Do a take.
Well, not him specifically, but has there ever been times where like they just didn't get it for like 5? And he's still waiting for something that maybe he hasn't got yet.
Yes, but that's unusual.
Oh, okay.
Larry's so, he knows exactly what he wants, you
Okay.
know? So he'll write a story outline, and in the scene, he'll say, Jeff and Cheryl want to do a podcast. Cheryl gets mad and walks out.
Okay.
So that's what we have to go
Dude,
on.
that's fun. Because then
Yeah.
my performance is gonna always seem supernatural.
Yeah.
Because it's just me doing what I would do.
Yeah, because you don't know why I'm going to walk out.
Yeah.
But then it's also for some actors like
Oh, they
a
can't.
nightmare.
Oh,
They
really?
can't do
Because
it.
they don't have their lines. It's like,
Right.
well, what do you want me to say? And they're like,
Right, because your formal training as an actor is every line, every word means something, every punctuation, every comma means. Oh.
yeah.
Sounds awful. Well, it sounds exhausting.
It is.
And you have to know what the other characters say about you, and that informs who you are as your character. But
Yeah.
on Curb, my character doesn't know what other characters are saying about. I don't even know what happens in the rest of the episode. So it's like,
It's really funny.
so all I know is what I know.
Yeah.
So, and Larry always tells me he'll tell me on a need to know basis. Like that's
really
cool.
funny. A need to know basis. Well, on our show, Better Late Than Never, there's a certain guy that was on the show. I won't say his name. Let's nickname him William Shatner. He
Bill, yeah.
had the hardest time with just being himself. Because there's no lines.
Right.
There's no motivation.
Right.
You go do the activity. You say what you would do
Yeah.
if you were doing that activity with your buddies, and you pretend the cameras aren't there. You know, that's the
Just
only part
live
that's
in the
pretending
moment.
Live
just
in the
Say
moment,
what you would
be
say
yourself.
and just be yourself. And every time for that first season, well, what are we doing here? We're enjoying the thing. Whatever the thing is, enjoy. And I would yell at him, which he hated because I'm the young guy on the show that he doesn't respect. Everyone else, he like there's mutual respect of their careers. And I'd be like, just do what you would do if you were doing this with your family or other friends.
Yeah.
And he's like, but my motivation. I was like, there's no motivation. Bill, are you insane? Like, it's just, how hard is that to grasp? But everyone else had an easy time with
Yeah.
it. Just, you know.
No, it is hard as an actor. It's hard. It's hard to be yourself, I think, sometimes. Because you're used to, I mean.
Yeah, but I don't get that vibe from you. And I famously talk shit about actors on this podcast because I love people. I'm like a big people. Like, and the first time we met, I was like, I was going to I drew the hand because I was literally like, I didn't know Cheryl Hines was going to be on the show. When I first came in the thing, they had come to an agreement. They go, we're going to go over all the rules and everything before the thing. So everyone's coming over. And for whatever reason, I was like the last one they grabbed, probably because I talked too much or something. And so I go in. I knew Joel was going to be there. I've known him forever. So I say hi to Joel. And then I knew some of the other people that were on the show because they worked on Masked Singer and other things I've done. And so I go in the room, and then you're there. But it's also the first day of like things being shut down from the pandemic. From Corona. So as a joke, I'm like, hey guys, and I just started like touching everyone, like as a stupid joke. And I remember that's the first time I met you. It's like I touched you and made a stupid Corona joke during the pandemic, and then they shut us down like a day later.
You're like Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, it was the exact joke. It was the Rudy Gobert joke for sure. Like just doing that, and I thought it'd be funny. But I remember sitting down and going, she doesn't know me, and I just like added her in that joke. I should have touched Joel. But I was walking by you, and so I don't know. Just,
I leaned into it. I mean,
you were sweet about it. You had a good sense of humor. But I was saying, like, actors aren't that way.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
And that's what's interesting because I, for whatever reason, I thought all actors were that way. I thought all actors were like, especially
Like
comedic
social
actors.
and,
like, hey,
Yeah.
you know. And I've learned, especially directing, it's not the case.
Dude, they're like, and I hate because people love to lump stand-up comedians. They love
Yeah,
it.
I
Aren't
bet.
all comedians sad?
Oh.
Aren't all comedians like had bad
Yeah.
childhoods? They love to lump us. And I love that like Jerry Seinfeld's got a great quote. He's like, I bet all bread truck drivers are depressed. But nobody cares about that industry, so we don't lump
Right.
them together. However, the only career I lump is a large percentage of actors are just very weird people socially.
Yeah.
I've taken so many girls on dates that are actors, and I was just like, what was that? Like, it was a weird, like...
Well, being an actor is it's a very strange world because, I mean, even doing Kevin Hart's show with my stepdaughter, and she's not used to lights and cameras. You know,
Sure.
there were cameras everywhere. She's like, "This is so weird. Like, what do we do?" I go,
be
like you
yourself.
say, yeah, just be yourself. She's like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
But so
Like everybody's watching you. I
everybody's
just be
watching
myself. Like,
you.
Just
Everybody's
be
listening.
friendly and
At
don't
your
say any
beck and-
racial slurs. It's not that hard.
Everybody's listening. You're mic'd.
and
You
they're your beck
know.
and call. Like, what do you want? What can I
Yeah,
get you? What,
it's
what do you
just
want for lunch?
it's a weird world, and being an actor and like going to all your acting classes, it's like people are judging you all the time.
Yeah.
And they're
And a lot of
sitting-
rejection.
That's
so
what
much
I tell people. I'm like,
rejection.
imagine going on an interviews all week, like 5 interviews, and you get no's.
Every
Yeah.
time, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And if you're me, 100% of the time.
yeah, me too.
You know the big
Same
note
way.
my agent always gets? We love Jeff. He is so, oh my God, we just love him. He needs to work on his acting. So I come in, I win the room over, I'm like charming, and then right when the actual part of like
Yeah.
reading starts, they're like, ooh.
Oh. Don't you hate it when you can see the disappointment in
Oh,
their
my
face, and it's like,
And I work the room. I'm just being myself. I have like all
You're
these
like,
like little
yeah,
stupid
yeah.
jokes I come up
Start
with. and they're
whenever
like,
you
They're
"Oh,
like,
want.
hey, let's start. And you start, and
Okay.
they're like, okay, I'm on my
You're like,
computer now.
don't go in there, Matt.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right. I've gotten better, but in the beginning it was brutal. They actually
awful.
said to my manager, like, why did you send him in here?
Oh god.
Like, he's new in LA. Like, he wants to be an actor. I don't know. It's
Oh
just
my
so
God.
embarrassing.
I did this one.
Oh, yeah, I want to hear your worst
oh,
audition.
My worst audition?
Yeah,
Okay,
after
but-
whatever you're going to say.
Okay. Well, I had this audition where it was all sort of teed up they needed somebody to do this pilot. I was quote unquote perfect for it. And they were going to be shooting like in 2 days or something.
Okay.
It was down to the wire. And they said, you're going to go into a sound stage, onto a set that's already there. You're going to do this scene. Everybody's going to be there. They're going to watch you.
So excited.
And then if things go well, which they're going to go well, you're going to walk over to hair and makeup. You're going to go into a fitting for wardrobe because this has to, happen. I was like, okay. So, I really spent a lot of time on this. I had it down. I did it.
And you know all the things that are supposed to happen, the fitting and
And it was like, okay. Thank you, Cheryl. It's like, oh.
Ouch.
Okay. So this is.
Should I go to makeup?
And they're like, we appreciate you coming in. It was great.
That's so
the
weird.
worst. That's like the
Okay.
worst thing to hear.
Oh, it was the
Is,
worst.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
I
it's
didn't
like,
fucking
oh,
get
wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, so if there's a thing you don't get, like that one, that like you were this close and it didn't work out, do you then watch that show, resent that show,
I
or
don't
like
watch it.
pretend that show didn't happen?
I
There must be 1,000 things you say. Oh, I auditioned for that, or I auditioned.
There are a few things that I just can't bring myself to watch because I got very close that I didn't get it, and I'm like,
that for sure.
fuck
Sure.
it, I can't.
Yeah.
It just will make me too,
Oh, I would have
start-
done it different.
well, yeah,
It'll
you-
take you out of
Yeah.
the story.
Exactly.
You're gonna
You
go. I
start
would have done
judging
it.
I
it
think it would be
different.
too, listen, in the big world of mindfulness, like what's your intention of watching this?
Right.
So your intention should be, I just want to enjoy the project and the film or the series or whatever it is. So if I can't go with that intention, then I'm like, if I'm going to make it all about me, like,
I agree.
I didn't get.
No, I agree.
You guys, pause it for a second. I'm going to tell you this story. It's like nobody gives a shit about your story that you didn't
Just
get the job.
go to a Super Bowl party and every actor goes, oh, I went out for that.
Oh
Yeah.
God, it's
I went out for
so
that commercial.
annoying. Stop telling us about all the things you didn't get.
Right. So I don't want to be that person.
Well, I
I try
think
not
about
to
that
focus
with
on
like
it.
church. So like, I don't need you there if it's gonna make you the worst version of yourself, where you're just like judging church. It's like you
Right.
brought all your negative opinions into this. It's obviously ruining your
Jeff,
day.
I'm sorry. It was
Yeah,
one
just
time you
kidding.
brought me.
But I was like, I think that's the same thing. It's like I did that like at Coachella.
Yeah,
Like I went to
yeah.
Coachella and I was just like a judgmental old guy. Where it's like, oh, all these young people just listening to music and doing drugs. And I was like, wait a minute. I went where young people go to listen to music and do drugs to
And got
judge
mad at
young
them
people for. And I
for
was like,
doing
I'm the
it.
problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Same with like church. Like it's like that. Like, I'm ruining this guy. Like this guy's not having a good time.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
It's like, why watch a show if the whole time you're just gonna think
Yeah,
like,
right.
I would have done it
Elizabeth
different.
Banks did that. Okay, Elizabeth
I
Banks.
love Elizabeth Banks. She's great.
Although
great.
it would be great though. So for me, this is just, and yeah, I won't lump you into this because it might be risque. But if I went out for a thing and
Yeah.
I don't get it, now I'm all chippy about it. Like,
Ah.
would have been perfect for this. But if they booked like a black guy, I'm like, oh, good. They just didn't want
they
my
went-
race.
They
Yeah,
just-
somebody
they
a
went a
different,
different direction.
completely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
makes me,
You do
I'm
feel better.
relieved about
you do
that.
feel
Like,
better
oh,
about
good.
that.
You do feel better about that because you feel like it's
Like,
less.
I didn't have a shot anyway.
Yeah, it's like they went in a different direction.
If they wanted a white guy, they'd have picked me. I could just always think that in the back of my head.
Jeff just hates when white guys are cast.
Yeah, when it's like a guy that's kind of like me. You know who's like that is there's like a more talented version of me in show business. He's not a stand-up comedian, so I have that on him. But he can sing. He's handsome. He can dance. He's like the total package.
What is
for
it?
show
Can we find
business.
his name? Or you'll tell.
And he gets everything I go out for. But that's the thing. I would have picked him too.
Right,
Like,
I know.
he's so much better than
Well,
me.
that's how I feel about people that get cast. I'm like, okay, well, I
Yeah.
get it.
It's
I get
very
it.
annoying. Like it'll be like me and one other person, and I'm always like, I wait to send the email, and then I'm like, screw it. Who's the other person? And they're like Zach Levi, and I was like, I knew it. I knew exactly, like literally everything.
Exactly.
And then do
that's
you
good.
see
It must have happened like at least 10 times, which is a lot.
Zach Levi's
Zach
good.
Levi is
Yeah,
good.
he is good.
Can't do stand
He's
up.
good.
That's true,
Okay,
you can't.
I got that. That's
You
the only
got
thing I got
that.
on him. Yeah,
you got that.
take that.
But it is terrible being an actor and going to a waiting room and everybody looks exactly like you.
Yeah.
And then the one person that's Asian, and it's like, okay,
Different role.
different role.
You're like, oh, I hope she gets it.
I know. It's like, please,
Yeah.
yes.
Well, so how often are people sending you offers to be in things, or how often do you have to like go into the room and audition?
well, without sounding like an asshole, I mostly get
Doesn't make
offers.
you an asshole. You earned it.
Yeah, I mostly get offers unless it's something that's like completely different for me. But more so, I go in for meetings.
Okay.
So
Oh, that's nice.
yeah. So instead of like, just go, just being offered something, you'll go in there, and if it is something that's different from what I usually do, I really know the script, and I, like Larry hates, I can talk about the character
Right.
and what they.
Do you ever say, I like that I would be a bartender in this movie? Or would you say, I like that Stephanie's a bartender? How would you say it?
I would
Do
say.
you talk about the
Oh,
character
yeah,
like it's a
third
different
person,
person?
or-
Or
Well,
you talk
I
about
would.
it like,
I would talk about it like if it's a different person, but I would say, I really connect with Stephanie because I was a bartender for
Oh, okay.
15 years, which I was. But so I know the grittiness of 3 a.m. and you smell like alcohol and people have been smoking and
Yeah.
it's like you go home and you're sad. So try to find a way
she's
to.
named stand-up comedy.
By the way, I was a waitress at a stand-up comedy place
Where?
in Orlando. It was like
Really?
a dinner theater.
Oh, God. That's so
stand-up
Florida.
comedy.
They still do those in Florida. Marco Island is a dinner
Dinner
theater
theater
thing.
comedy.
Naples. Vasani's comedy theater. I don't even know what city that one's in. And it's just like this big old people just eating, and then you're doing stand-up and bombing. It's awesome.
Insane,
Yeah.
insane. But I loved it because I got to see all the stand-up comedians. I loved
And
it.
probably they all flirted with you, I bet.
I don't remember that part. but
Really?
Maybe.
That's a huge part of our
Is that
industry.
Jeff, don't rub it in.
No, I'm just saying, it's like the like
Really?
they,
They didn't hit on you? Oh, jeez.
Oh.
so they had to like make it a rule with like, hey, certain clubs are like, don't have
Oh,
sex
yeah.
with the waitresses. Like we've yelled at
Yeah.
them. We've
We've
hired
yelled at
some of them
them.
because we like them. Like we don't want you to just come in town and
Yeah. No, I was kind of a. Well, I don't want to say stand-up groupie because that does sound like I
Yeah.
had sex with a lot of stand-ups.
Well,
which
if I'm
I-
at a
Big fan.
concert every single night and there's like all, that's just gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
that's the cool person.
Right.
The band is like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fun, and then also
Right.
we think the staff is the cool people because
That's who
they
you-
have alcohol and they're like
Right.
working this job and like they're also part of the employees. So it's like whatever.
Yeah. Well, I love watching stand-up comedy. Well, especially when I was younger. I don't really get out of the house anymore. But yeah, like not actually have sex with them.
Right.
But
Well, I didn't
but
mean
why?
that,
No, but if you say, but when I know I'm saying it about myself. If I say I'm at a groupie, it kind of sounds like I'm waiting backstage to try to take somebody
Yeah.
home.
Groupie does
Which
have kind of a
There's a
negative
stigma
It does have-
attached to it.
yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
I should just say fan.
a
yeah.
fan.
Big stand-up fan.
That's how I met Tig Notaro, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
You were waiting for her back.
I was waiting.
I'm a groupie, and she was like, yes.
Yes. Then the next morning, when we woke up,
In the
and
closet.
I feel like she hates men. Is that a thing? Is that a safe
No, she doesn't hate
assessment?
men at
No?
all.
I've met
Why
her
do you
like
think so?
20 times, and she's just. I think maybe because I look like a douchey guy, visually.
No,
like
I
that
think
she's
it's-
just like mean to me every time.
I think it's her demeanor,
Yeah.
but to everybody.
Oh, really?
I think she's got like this low energy, like flat, Hey,
Very
hey, you're doing the
deadpan,
show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I would love to hey.
I would love that.
That's really her warming up to me. If I could have got a hey.
You're doing the show. Great. That's
yeah,
gonna
Jeff
suck.
Dye's here.
Yeah. So that's kind of her thing.
I love her though. I think she's so funny. I one time went and saw her at UCB in New York in like 2006 or something, and she was so funny. But I hadn't heard of her
But did
until
you do?
then.
Did she? She
She did
just did stand up.
It was a stand-up showcase
Okay.
at UCB.
So like, wow, I
And,
can't imagine her doing improv with
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah.
Yeah, she would hate that.
It seems like she
She'd
would
be
hate
digging
that.
every scene.
Yeah, she'd be like, "What? Why are you acting
guess
like
now
there's
I'm a police
you're stirring
officer."
a pot? There's no pot there." It's like, okay, yeah, I know. I want you to believe there's a pot. Yeah, but there's no pot.
What is it, an invisible pot? You're like, Tig.
I don't know. I'd
Dig, we're
watch
doing
that improv
We're doing
scene.
a scene.
It'd be a great
Tig
sketch.
just-
First one.
She just can't let go of reality. Like everything is this.
What,
No.
what was this? I'm opening a
Why'd we
door.
go to
Well,
this
then-
improv theater? You're like, dude, we're in a post office, Tig.
Well, we're really not. We're still in the improv.
Then why are all these
theater.
people here in seats watching us?
No, I taught improv at the Groundlings, and there were a few students. Oh, I just remember like one guy was labeled a pirate, and he was holding one of his legs up behind him, and the other guy, he's like, I lost my leg in a, battle, whatever they're
Perfect.
called. And the other guy was like, "No, you're not. No, you didn't. You're holding it up with your
Oh no.
your hand." It's like,
And
okay.
you're like, you're not going to do good in this class. Just
I'm
cut.
like, everybody freeze. Okay. He just said he lost his leg. Well, you gotta
Go
leave.
with it.
You gotta go
Yeah.
with it. So your
First
job
rule
is to
of
say
improv.
yes and. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I know, but everyone can see he's just holding his leg up. It's like, okay.
You're
Okay.
not,
Yeah.
you're not gonna make it.
You're
Here.
not gonna.
You were not cut out for the mean streets of improv.
Well, I don't know if I've shared the story on this podcast or not, but my biggest improv nightmare was I took a UCB 101, went great, super fun, made some good friends, it was awesome. And then so they advanced me to UCB like improv 102 or whatever.
Okay.
First day in the class.
Okay. So far, so good.
Yeah, everything's working out.
Yeah.
Everything's look like they'll be my new friends, all these people that are in the class. And so they were like, who wants to do like the first scene? This is first day, first scene. After we did games, I guess, but then we did the first like improv scene. The teacher picks me and this like little guy who's he's small compared to me,
Oh gosh.
and he
I
has
don't like where this
he has
going.
the vernacular of a homosexual, like a stereotypical homosexual.
This isn't gonna turn out.
It was
well.
not well. It was
This-
it was my biggest nightmare in improv ever. So
Oh.
you go with it. Whatever they give you, you go with it.
Okay.
So he's like, all right, let's just see how much of you guys what you've retained from the 101. We just want to see where everyone's kind of at.
Yeah.
So he
Your
goes,
level.
He starts the scene by saying, Mr. President, that kind of language out there is not gonna fly. So now I know
Great opening
Yeah, that's
line.
really
great. I'm the president.
Right.
We're in private, and I
Yes.
must speak outrageously.
Okay.
Right? Like I'm
Oh,
saying
no.
something outrageous. So I go,
Please
well, that's
don't.
something you would think, you little right?
Oh.
Everyone in the class, and it's also like these are like theater people, like improv people, like you could hear like a gasp.
Sure.
Yeah, it was
Sure.
so bad. But I thought I was just doing what he
Set you
set
up.
me up
Yeah.
for.
Not really. Not at
I
all.
know it wasn't good.
Not in the least. Not.
It
in
wasn't
the-
supposed to be like a hate crime.
I
Like it was
mean,
supposed to
yeah.
just be me being
But it
like,
just
what's
turned-
the most heinous thing a president would say to his assistant because he's got a foul mouth and he's. Yeah, it was so cringy and uncomfortable.
And then what happened? Was the scene stopped down or
No,
was it, no?
he
You
actually
played it
rolled
out.
with it really well,
That's-
and so it went fine. But you know you're doing well when the rest of the people watching it are laughing. They weren't laughing. No one was laughing. So we just like
Oh, I was gonna say,
continued
they-
doing
Yeah.
the
They
scene.
couldn't have been.
No one liked it, and he was really
Yikes.
cool about it. He actually ended up being a nice guy, and like I'm still to this day we're pals. But it was so stinking uncomfortable, and I stayed my ground. I kept being like, no, it was an honest mistake of like the path. Also, at this point, I don't know if this is as accurate. The F word that I just said is way more offensive in 2020 than it was when I did that. It hasn't
I
always
can't
been.
confirm or deny
I
this,
don't
but
think I'm in a position. to
Really?
say that.
I don't like in
but perhaps
2000.
people are more sensitive. I don't know.
2008,
know.
I was.
Still
It
wouldn't
was
have been
not.
great.
It wasn't great. Obviously,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
did bad.
No, yeah.
But I'm
Clearly
saying
it
in
wasn't good.
2008.
You're saying we're more sensitive now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that word has definitely become more socially unacceptable. People like definitely know you shouldn't say it. Everyone knows 100% across the board we shouldn't say that word. Whereas
Yes.
I
You thought in
that
some,
time's like, that's
some circles.
it's funny, right? It's like
Oh.
saying the C word.
Like Eminem says it.
Like CUNT, like it'd be
Right.
like they'd be like saying that like I'm gonna get that
Right.
shock value of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
It was a
you know,
it
I
was a
think-
nightmare.
Well, improv is hard, I
Mm-hmm.
think, because for that reason, I mean, you have to make choices, and they have to be bold choices in
Yeah.
order for it to be successful and to be funny. You know, you have to you have to go for it, and you're trading.
I swung
as,
for the fences.
you really did,
You
and
absolutely did.
I appreciate that part of it. But you
Just
know,
I wish you were my teacher because this guy was not too
This is
happy.
not-
about it.
no. But you know, because in improv they teach you can't think about it. You can't think about what you're
Just
going to say.
roll.
You have to trust your instincts.
Yeah.
Or if you're Jedi, maybe
Welcome to
maybe
stand
one
up
step in between.
comedy
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
instincts. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
that was bad.
It's hard, but it's hard. But no, I just did an improv show at the Groundlings, and you know, before you go on, you really, I really did like think, well, I don't want to say anything to offend anybody. I don't
yeah.
want to, although I don't find myself in that position too often, where
Right.
somebody's like, wow, you just called me a name.
Yeah.
That's not usually my vibe, but
But
I
you
mean,
don't know. I mean, like, what? I don't even know how you would offend someone in an improv
Well,
sketch, with the exception of what I just shared.
I mean,
Like,
I
how-
think there's plenty of ways to.
There are plenty
Really?
of ways.
Offend?
I mean,
Sure.
one of the worst parts for me, first of all, because I'm not good at accents. So back in the day when I was performing at the Groundlings, you see where this is at. Yeah. My C partners would love to fuck with me. Can we curse on this?
Yeah.
I just said the other F word.
That's
So yeah,
true.
we could have
So, they would say, oh, well, you're from wherever,
Russia.
And then you would do like an Asian
Russia.
accent.
Let's do, yeah.
Yeah, Russia's not offensive.
Yeah,
Let's hear
go
that
with-
Russian accent.
No, let's hear your Asian accent.
By the way, they all sound exactly
Russian.
alike. But so, it's always that,
Yeah.
and then if you have, because I'm not going to be able to do a good accent.
Would love to hear it.
What about for a movie? Actually, you did a good Southern accent earlier.
Yeah.
Oh, I can do
That's got to
Southern.
come natural.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like
because-
if you just, I imagine, I don't know if anything, if this is true, but do actors just go, oh, I'll do my mom for this like scene, or I'll do like my friend so and so. This
Well,
sounds like
yeah.
this.
I mean, it's,
You take what you know. And
yeah, it depends on regional. I mean, even Southern, there are different regions.
Yeah.
So some of them draw out their
Cajun.
words, and some of them are clit. But no, I auditioned for. Can I say it? I guess I can say it. Doesn't matter. But which I never saw. The movie Brave was
Oh,
an animated.
Yeah.
What? And it was
Scottish?
Scottish, right? So I get the call. They were like, "Do you want to go in and audition?" I said, "That would be amazing."
To be just the voice, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I said, I don't do a Scottish accent. I said, but I feel confident that if I had time to work
Yeah.
with somebody, and they said, great, go in. We'll tell them you're not doing the accent. Just go in and do your best. And if they like you, then, I said, great. I go in. Like people in the booth, a lot of like heavy hitters in the booth.
Yeah.
They're all there. I'm doing my thing. I felt like I did a pretty.
Cheryl, she's Scottish, right?
It was exactly that. I did it, and they said, "Can you do it with the accent?" I was like, "Oh,
we had an agreement.
my people tell you what. I mean, I could do it later if I have. They're like, just go for just
Yeah, they're so
Doesn't matter.
supportive, but you're
Yeah.
like,
Like,
ooh.
go ahead, jump
like-
off the cliff. Do it.
just try it. It doesn't matter.
Just get a running start. Just go
Yeah.
for it. Just Scottish.
And
Just
I'm like-
Scottish.
Just tell us why we should not take you.
I don't know the difference between Irish and Scottish
Oh,
dialect.
Scottish, you know it.
I wouldn't know.
Scottish is
Oh,
tough.
and I'm just like, I feel like
I'm so excited.
I feel like the heat coming up, like your body starts like your body is already saying, please don't do
Ears
it.
are-
Yeah, your ears are burning. It's like don't let one word come out of your mouth. And
Oh,
it's like
man.
That'd be amazing if
guess
you
I'm-
just like started just like
I
you walk down. It's like it's completely the wrong. You're like, wait a minute.
no, I only have like a pirate.
I was going to say, do like a Sean
I was
Connery
like-
impression.
I was like, oh doctor, don't go in there. It's like but you could see all the. I mean, this was a huge movie.
Yeah,
you know what I
it was a
mean? This
giant
is like
movie.
What was
this
that?
is no
And it's
Was
the
it
lead.
Pixar or Disney or
And
something?
I'm just like, I've raised you better than this.
Oh wow.
And they're like, you can see like heads cocking, like,
Awesome.
what is
That's
she? Does she
great.
know? And I'm like, and I'm just, and I'm feeling like just bail, like just
Just say, "I
abort,
can't."
but the improv, training,
Yeah.
where it's like go for it, commit 100%. I'm just like, hi. Lassie, and they're just like, okay.
I can shoot an arrow. Arr. You're like, wait, what? Arr? Did you
They
add?
were like, thank you, Cheryl. I'm like,
Oh,
you guys
I got
got
the thank
everything.
you. Yeah.
I mean, don't forget I can work.
Yeah.
I
Don't
can
forget
work
later I can do it.
Do you want to?
No, this will be
Did you
great
wanna,
later.
Do you want a Tallahassee accent?
Y'all, I can do a Tallahassee
Well, they're also
accent.
She could be from
You know, that's
Tallahassee.
what an audition is, right? You're going to show us what you would know. Later, I'll do that. Later, I'll give you the good stuff. If you
I mean,
book me.
the drive home was excruciating. Just being alone with myself in the car was just
Sure.
like,
Oh.
I have no pride. I have no, like, why didn't I listen to that little voice inside my head that said, don't.
But it could have went well. We're dreamers. No, but it could have. That little voice you were going,
Yeah.
shut up. Maybe I'm going to
shut-
book this.
Maybe, yeah,
We have
maybe.
that in common, which is very similar to the thing that we teased about I Could See Your Voice. We're the, no, what if?
Yeah.
This could,
This
this could be
Optimistic.
great.
Yeah.
When I open my mouth, maybe I'm gonna nail it.
Yeah. Maybe it'll just come on out.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
in there.
But also, you
It's
wouldn't
like
have
your
enough.
singing show. You didn't know? Like,
I did know.
And
know
we're
this
making a
person could do
positive
a
of it right now.
Scottish
We're
accent.
using that story as like something to laugh at yourself, and you learned about yourself. It's I think it's all a positive.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
Kind of.
It's funny.
That's
I
funny.
went for it.
Have you ever voiced anything before, like where you've been just a voice?
Yes. I don't know if you're familiar with Space Chimps, but besides Space Chimps,
Wow, Space Chimps.
No, I'm not.
I do a voice on a show on Netflix called Three Below.
Oh, cool.
With Guillermo.
Guillermo del Toro?
Yes.
I love
Wow.
him.
So he's the creative voice on it, and
Nice.
everybody on it is fantastic.
I've heard he's like
So
the most approachable celebrity in the world.
I haven't met him, but
Yeah, I've heard like he's just the coolest. Like
he
somebody
seems like it.
told
I
some
mean,
story on the internet where they're like, I just went up to him to tell him I like his films, and we sat and had lunch.
That's amazing.
It's
Awesome.
insane.
That's amazing.
I want to look up something real quick. Space Chimps. I know that you're dying to talk about it.
I can't wait to talk about it.
When
And Space Chimps.
who was president when we walked on the moon?
Kennedy?
It was?
Yeah.
Isn't that ironic? Because we sent a chimp to space first.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how we used to test things. We were like, we're not just going to put a person up there.
Right.
So we shot a monkey up
Yeah.
there.
And that's what the film was about.
Was it?
the monkeys that went to
Is that how you got the job?
Well, I got the no, I didn't.
mean-
I did. I wasn't part of the Kennedy clan back
Oh,
then.
okay.
I got the job because Barry Sonnenfeld, who directed RV, did Space Chimps.
Yeah. I always feel bad for that monkey.
I know
the
poor
first
mon-
monkey. He lived and everything. He was very
But just imagine
famous.
that
Yeah.
monkey is just like.
But just he's
what
sitting up there going,
the-
what?
Does he tell stories to the other chimps? Like,
Yeah, of
guys, you'll
course.
never fucking believe this.
Yeah, they just
Guys,
put me
guys.
up there, and they're like, "Well, what if you died?" They're like, "I don't know."
I don't know. I don't think
I,
he cared.
I had a
didn't talk
button
about
I
that
had to hit. I just kept hitting the button. I'm freaking out up there. My ears hurt. We just tested a monkey. I couldn't.
Yes, we were
I
the
just-
monkeys that went to the moon.
It's crazy.
Pretty cool. Thank you for doing this.
Oh my God, it was so fun.
You're the best. So I could see your voice comes out
September 23rd, after Masked Singer.
after Masked Singer, and then what else? Do you have anything else? Your podcast.
So a podcast with Tig Notaro, Tig and Cheryl, True Story.
Nice.
So we watch documentaries and then we talk about them. And actually, we did we don't usually have guests, but of course we did Tiger King. But Eric Good, who directed it and produced it, is a friend of mine, so he was on.
Oh,
so it's
nice.
really
Oh, nice.
that's a really fun one because you get to hear
The
and it-
behind the scenes
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
and just stuff that you would never hear.
Well, the documentary. So you say to the audience, this week we watched
Yeah.
blank,
Yes.
and then do you encourage them to go watch it, or is it just you guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we will. We have a we're on Instagram and you can see what we're going to talk about next. So
Smart.
if you
It's like a
want
book club.
to, yeah. So if you want to
Nice.
watch it, you should.
It's like a
And
book club for dum-dums. You know, they don't want to read a whole
You don't
book.
have to read a whole book. You can.
I
watch
could do this book
Oh,
club.
I'm gonna be in this club.
You can watch it, but it's really fun because, of course, we talk about the documentary, but we get sidelined. We did fire,
Which is great. That's why people want to hear you talk and hear Tig
Yeah.
talk, so that's what they want.
and
anyway.
sometimes we go off on tangents. Did you see the fire documentary? You know the
Fire
Oh yeah, the
Fest.
Fire
the party.
Festival. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so I'll tell you what and maybe this is what Tig said, and maybe it was your opinion. So I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but I didn't appreciate how many people were mean to the victims of the Fire Festival. So those people
I know.
were they had some money, they saved up some money, or they were wealthy and they wanted to go to a thing they thought was going to be cool. And so many people had the take of like, well, they're a bunch of stupid idiots anyways
No.
for
Yeah.
falling for it.
No,
and
that's terrible.
it's like,
No, yeah,
they
we-
got tricked.
I know.
Yeah, you never know. You never expect to just get swindled.
Right.
at
And
a
also, like, you see all the
concert.
people on the plane also going, well, those are also YouTubers and influencers and rich people that I've seen at Coachella and stuff. So, like, we're all going
still-
this
I know,
together.
there's
Like,
still
so I
people.
felt bad for them.
Well, even the models that did, the Instagram shots
Yeah.
before, it's like, how do they know that it's?
Right.
They didn't. Yeah, they're just trying to help promote
They're
a
like,
thing.
dude, doing a
Getting
job.
paid, yeah.
It's like, so yeah, no, we didn't get into the people that went
Oh,
there
good.
because that I agree that
Yeah, there's a
those aren't the
comedian
people that.
who like went on Conan O'Brien like when that documentary was really blown up, and he's like, I think if you pay thousands of dollars to go see whatever he named like a band, and he's like, then you deserve to get and I was like, shut up, that's such a mean take.
Yeah.
Blame the victim.
Yeah, no, it's kind of an easy way to go because you feel like, oh, if you can afford $2,000 to go.
Yeah.
But that
They
doesn't-
treat people that have money like they're evil. It's like, no, it's
Right.
okay.
Right.
Yeah, it's okay.
Sure,
You
there's
wanna
some
go
pretty
on your-
evil rich guys, but not just everyone
you
who
never-
has some scratch.
Yeah,
Like,
and you
Right.
never think like, oh, there's a festival. Well, I might get taken for
Yeah.
Right.
$5,000.
No, it's like Coachella. I mean, look at
Yeah.
all the people that go to Coachella.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not cheap.
It's
You gotta-
expensive.
it's expensive.
That's why Bernie Sanders will never win anything, because he spends all of his time talking trash about the rich, and obviously rich people hate that. And then all the poor people think to themselves, "Well, I'm going to be rich someday." So you lose everyone. Because like no poor people's walking around going, "I'll be poor forever." No, they think
Right.
they'll someday be the
Absolutely.
rich.
Yeah.
And then the rich go, "Hey, screw you," and the poor go, "Oh well, screw you
Well,
eventually."
I'm gonna be
They
that
seem
guy,
to
so-
know what they're talking about. Better follow those guys.
So you and Tig, when does that come out?
Next week, I think on September. I don't know what today is.
So it's a new podcast.
It's new. It hasn't even. We haven't dropped yet.
That's amazing.
Is that what people say about?
Wow.
the
Yeah.
podcast?
Drop.
Exclusive
Drop.
here on the Jeff
Yes,
Friendship
you heard it
Podcast.
here first.
Have you been enjoying your pandy
So, what is a pandy?
pandemic? You know the pandemic.
I was like,
Just a
ah.
Cute name.
I
for
thought
the
maybe that's what you
pandemic.
call a podcast because I'm new to this world.
No,
But it
you're
was a
gonna
weird-
crush that because it's just hanging out and talking. It's,
Handy.
you're very good. But I mean, like this quarantine stuff, like you're in your house. Have you enjoyed it? Or,
lot.
I mean, you seem
It's
like a
a lot.
positive person.
I am a positive person. It's been a lot because I have a lot of kids.
Like I hit my husband constantly. I beat him.
Well, I'm not used to my husband being home.
That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of time with the people that you love.
And I'm not used to being home.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, I'll see you in 6 weeks because I got to do a thing. So it's been a good.
I'll see you in 6 seconds
Yeah, it's
in
like,
the living room.
oh,
Well, again.
yeah, it's like, well, okay. Yes, no, sometimes I sit in my car in the
Oh,
driveway.
really?
It's so sad.
It's so funny.
But what's sad is like I'm in my
No,
car.
he likes it too. He's happy about it. He's like,
Well, I'm in my car in my driveway, like just doing emails, listening to music that I want to listen to. And then, my stepdaughter's like, I'm knocking on the window. It's like, can you see? Like, I walked out of the house.
this is Cheryl
to
time.
sit in my
You need to just
car.
drive down the street.
I know.
a
I've
ways.
learned.
Yeah.
I have learned. But by the way, people think you're weird. When
Oh,
you drive,
yeah,
when you
They're
drive
like,
down the
honey,
street,
Cheryl Hines is parked outside of our house.
She hasn't gone into the Starbucks. She's been sitting there for 45 minutes.
I do. I sit there, and people will be like, walk out of their house, like, to act like they're getting the trash. Like,
Yeah.
is that lady still here?
Cheryl Hines is pulling an Anne Heche.
And she's pulling on hand. Oh my
That's
god.
amazing. So
So-
you've been not enjoying it that much. I mean, a little bit.
There are parts of it that I have enjoyed.
Because my dog is like, he's even looking at me like,
Oh.
I could use some space.
Yeah, I
That's my
know.
dog
Yeah,
talking.
but your dog is like, look, I like you.
You're great.
I don't
No,
want-"
it's not that I don't want to be around you. It's just like maybe not so much all the time.
Well, they're definitely the shine has worn off.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like, oh, let's bake cakes. Okay.
That first month, I was
Yeah,
enjoying
yeah.
watching
First-
movies and eating frozen
Yeah.
pizzas and having a small circle of friends over.
Yeah,
That's what I
and
like.
Netflix, and you're like, hey, we're all on Zoom now, but we'll see you next month. And and then it's like 3 months later. Remember when it first happened?
It
You're
was
like,
exciting.
when it first happened, we shot.
Yep.
I can see your voice.
We were the last studio, and it's no coincidence that it was Fox still keeping the studios open.
We were keeping it, and then we got shut down the next day. And then the way I remember it was like, look, we're gonna take 2 weeks off.
Yeah,
Everybody's just gonna like settle down.
and then it'll be fun.
We'll be back in 2 weeks. And then, everybody's like, whoa, crazy. So we go home and it's like, ooh, stuck with these.
Everyone's
nuts.
dead in Italy.
Yeah.
And then it's like,
yeah.
oh, it's a real,
Got
this is a
serious.
real thing. It's bad.
No NBA.
Yeah.
What?
And then it was like, you guys, it's going to be more like 2 months. And then it was like, what?
Yeah,
I'm not going to make it.
yeah.
And then it's
I'm
like,
selling my car.
And then they're like, oh, yeah. And by the way, nobody's going back to school and nobody's going back to work. And you're like,
Ugh.
what?
I know.
Like, it's not cute.
That's not cute.
I don't wanna
Actually,
make
that's
it-
that's what
pandemic-
this episode's gonna be titled. This pandemic is not cute.
pandemic's
No
not
cake
cute.
is gonna help.
Right.
It's like I don't care to clean my closet. I don't.
I know. Well, I actually
Well, you
said
have
this.
to now. It's a,
Yeah, the
it's a
podcast,
set.
and I still don't. It is a
Well,
set.
that's good.
I've said this on stage, so it's like they're gonna be like, "That's a joke," but it's true. It's my real opinion. The first week that this happened, when they were shutting everything down, and we were masking up if you even went to check the mail, and then you
Yeah.
stayed in your house and
Yes.
you're getting things
Yeah,
delivered
couldn't
to
even walk
you.
outside.
Your Postmate won't even look at you. He just like leaves
Right.
it on the step. So when that was going on, they did this thing where in Florida, your home state, there was a
Yes.
bunch of people just going to the beaches and partying, and they're like, hey, I'm not losing my spring break
Right.
because of this. All the old people should just stay home. And there's like a guy with a mask from the news that's like, don't you think that's irresponsible? This Facebook video, I mean, they lit this kid up like, this douchebag, screw you, you stay in your house, you piece of shit. Like, it's not, this is bigger than spring break. If you ever want to see spring break again, you do the right thing. And I remember I was that guy. I was like, I hate this kid. This kid's a douchebag. And now, 6 months later, I'm that guy. Like, I'm just completely like, I'm going places. I mean, I can't do it anymore. I can't. I gotta go.
Gotta do it.
Get a coffee shop.
I
I'm
think
like,
most of the
know.
country is like that now.
oh, and I wear my
know.
mask and I socially distance, but
Right.
I can't just be in here anymore. Like
I know.
like I can't do it. I'm just going and doing everything.
You just got to I know.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
I can only affect the
Yeah.
people who are being as reckless as me.
That's right.
Because if
they're
you're
out,
home
if
being
they-
safe, I can't get you.
I can't. You're not going door to door?
Yeah, I'm getting the dum dum at
Hey!
Whole Foods. Like, I don't need a mask. America writes, and like I'm infecting her. Aren't you happy?
I cannot wait to see you at Walmart. Like, you're going to make me wear a mask?
Yeah, oh,
I
yeah.
want to see that.
Yeah, I can't wait for Jeff to go
I
viral
dare
on
you
one of
to
those.
come.
Please, I want
Yeah.
to see this viral video.
Dude, these people know me. They know, like,
They
that's,
know.
that's what Jeff's
They
like. I love you. You're the best. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I love you too. And
Yeah.
this was really, really fun.
Thanks for doing it. How about that? What a great episode. Guys, thank you for joining. Episode 119 coming at you next week. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. Also, subscribe to my Patreon. I'm going broke in this pandemic, so come on. Just please help me. Don't be cheap. I don't want to lose all my stuff. So subscribe to Patreon, get some free tickets, be able to watch the podcast. Yeah, and that's it. Thank you. See you guys next week.
Friendship.